Alright, welcome back to another art video starring the cat going berserk as per usual. So today we're going to be drawing an animals drawing. Now I'm not the best when it comes to drawing animals, but I like to think I am decent enough to at the very least make it look, like the animal it's supposed to look like. So we're drawing cows. That's right, we're drawing cows. How do you draw them cows? Well, just draw them as it is. So the idea I have in mind here is a bunch of cows, at least 3, sticking their heads out of a little pen area. And the pen is going to be kind of, well, let me see something for a second. Yeah, we're still on cow's path. So this is not how small it's going to be, but just imagine the cow's nose like around here. This is definitely not the nose I want it to make, but you get the point. And they're here with another one behind here, another one behind here, and then the background over here. What I have in mind looks good in my head, but will I be able to reproduce it? I don't know. We'll see. The cows that we're drawing are cows from Carl Lincoln's farm. And Carl Lincoln, I haven't talked about that particular, well, I guess you could call it a version of the portraits universe, despite the fact that it's from the animals folder, but I'd say it's still in the same vein of realism instead of like fantasy, sci-fi, Mark Bradhorn, and all that stuff. I keep trying to get a certain snout going here, but it's just not how it's supposed to be. I want to face in this direction. Yeah, there we go. Like that. But, yes, Carl Lincoln, he's a good farmer. I've talked about him a lot through multiple different drawings. But essentially, he's good to his animals. When certain animals grow old, that's when he uses the meat of the animals. If he needs to have like protein and stuff. He only eats protein and meat from animals that he knows has been taken good care of. Obviously, he's not really a vegetarian or anything of that nature. Carl Lincoln does eat meat, but he does take care of the animals. And when they pass, if, certain circumstances allow for it, say like old age, then yes, Carl Lincoln will utilize their meat for his breakfast, dinner, and all that stuff. Just as like most farmers should probably go and do. Make sure their cows are taken good care of. And when their time comes, that's when you eat. Might seem gruesome at first, but we're all meat eaters here. Okay, not all of us. I can't, I'm not somebody who can just give up meat. I'm like a cat, and I'm full on carnivorous. The cat's just looking at me. And she eats. I don't even remember what I gave her. What was it, beef, turkey? Was it fish, cat? Fish? What do you call it? What is that? Friskies. Yep, Friskies wet food. These animals aren't technically his pets, that's for certain. He wouldn't do this to the dog. What's his name? And he definitely wouldn't do this to the cat either. Just like it makes sense in American culture, cows, chickens, sheep, pigs, and all that sorts of things are what we eat, primarily. Even so, cultural-wise, I understand why most people would be angry at us eating a cow if it's sacred to their religion. Just the same as those eating dogs and cats, which I would get angry at as well. You can't really stop them from doing it because their religion and culture and other reasons. But, who are we to judge since we are the ones who eat cows? I would never want to eat the cat. The cat's my friend. She cute. Besides, Cats are like the one thing keeping me relatively sane in life. That and my shows on Toonami. Most animes, games, drawing, creating definitely keeps me somewhat sane. But, yes, I don't know why I'm trying to draw the cow as if it's going to have a collar. The reference image I'm looking at has a collar, but that's not what I want this cow to have. I still don't understand, though, why, most of these companies just are so abhorrent when it comes to making, cows and all that stuff in terms of getting them all set up and ready to be consumed. Doesn't matter that they're going to be product. There's companies out there just really ticks me off. Part of me thinks that yes, it'd be good to boycott them, but at the same time, you can't really, how would I best explain this? You can't really boycott certain things because you hate a company. I mean, you can, but then you're going to be limiting yourself to a lot of stuff. Activision is abhorrent with their freaking workplace, what do you call it? But does that mean I'm going to not buy any more Crash Bandicoot games or Spyro games when they come out? No, I'm looking forward to that stuff. I just wish that Crash was owned by a company that actually cares for the freaking game and not treat it like a product. That's the thing about games like that. We always got these companies that are just not good when it comes to handling the production of games. Same with everything in life. Maybe corporations just suck in general. Have you ever had a corporate that we all actually like as a collective? Have we ever had anything like that before? I don't think we have. And I don't know why I'm going into this dark subject so early on. We're like, what is it? We're not even 10 minutes into the video, and we're already talking about some pretty dark shish. Let's focus on something else. We are doing pretty good in our little Minecraft series, that's for certain. We just built the kitchen, and if I can complete this today, I might make another episode. You won't see it until, hopefully 8. I tried putting up an episode earlier today, but stupid stuff happened, and then I ended up having to do it at 12 instead of 8. I don't know a good time to post Minecraft videos. 8 seems like a good time early in the morning for most of making my Minecraft content for kids now, due to the stuff that I've been talking about. But 8 seems like a good time in general for just Minecraft videos. If y'all's got anything better to suggest in that department, feel free to give me a comment. Maybe I'll try to rearrange it. None of my content here is for kids. As you can clearly tell by the first 10 minutes of this video, we are not here for the kids. Oh, and that's another thing. These parents need to really start looking at what their kids watch instead of relying on the content creators to watch themselves. We get to do whatever the hell we want, son. We ain't here for kids. Doesn't matter if kids watch us. We ain't doing it for your kids. If you don't like what your kid's watching, monitor it, man. Part of the reason why I don't really want to become a parent anytime soon. It just seems like trying to take care of a child is more work than it needs to be, and I would probably be in the same boat of leaving my kid unsupervised on YouTube or something. I don't need to worry about that. I already got a kid, quote unquote. I was hoping she'd work, but nope. She is purring now. I mean, you could probably hear her, but maybe not because she's a little bit further away from Mike. Cats are so much easier to take care of than dogs, though, that's for certain. I know for a fact that those two up there have to be bathed a bunch. Thankfully, I am not the one to do that. That falls on to the other two upstairs. But for me, I got a cat. Dang old cat over here just licking herself. Licking her paw. And don't even know you can you pick up on that while I'm talking. Just hear like little fur moving. But yes, Carl Lincoln's farm. I do want to draw Carl Lincoln at some point, but I don't know when I would be able to do that. And have to have a portraits folder be opened up a bit, because obviously he'd be in the portraits folder, not in the animals folder. Carl Lincoln's farm consists mostly of animals. We haven't drawn Carl Lincoln yet fully. We've drawn like a small bit of him, but not entirely. At some point, we will definitely indeed draw Carl Lincoln. But as it stands right now, we don't have the space. And sure, I could probably just make the space myself, but nah, I'd rather stick to the limitation periods. It's useful to have when you want to like make a balance of certain drawings and stuff. So like for a good example here, I want to draw a bunch of my portrait girls, right? But if I do a bunch of that, then the animals folder will probably stay at a very low level. Next thing I know, portraits is at 180 and animals is at like 120 with everything else around 150. It's good to keep a balance, and it's good to practice drawing certain things. Gotta keep the cat from pressing the N key. It's good to draw certain things that I don't want to draw, but I should draw to get better at it. Like this cow, for instance. Drawing cows can be difficult. Now, I'm not going to draw the whole cow because, okay, you are too far in this direction. I'm going to have a pen here. Now, these pens are what is considered little sleeping areas for the cows. An inside bedroom that each and every individual cow in Carl Lincoln's farm has. It comes with a locked gate that the cows know how to unlock. Carl Lincoln taught the cows well. Taught them how to lock their gates behind them when they go into their little bedrooms. And now the cows, they used a little nose to nudge the the gate lock. And then once they open the gate, bring the gate thing into the right position, they know how to unlock it and lock it at the same time. So, oh god, cat, would you stop messing with the camera, computer? The computer cam. But yes, the cows do know how to unlock and lock the gates. They know the mechanisms inside and out. It's a simple thing, really. I guess the best thing to try to describe it would be if lever up, gate movable. If a lever down in certain spot, gate unmovable. And it's nice. The cows can go on ahead and lock the door behind them and then go into their bedroom undisturbed. And then they could just sleep. When they wake up in the morning, first thing they do is nudge their nose on the gate when they decide it's time for them to go outside. And then they open it and leave. Some cows will stay behind for a bit to lock the gate on themselves again. But other cows will just go and do their thing. Leave their little bedroom area open. Just see everything collected. Good. So, yeah. I think it's a nice idea, and I think it's something that could be possible, especially if you, have, like, certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Silver tongue with the cows or something. Alright, Cadillac, I see you. We all see you. Dang old cat over here. I do at some point also want to make a map of Carl Lincoln's farm. But I'm not entirely too sure of when I want to do that. We have the landscape and scenery folder already predetermined for us going into the next limitation period. What is it, you may ask? Well, I ain't gonna give away them spoilers just yet, even though I probably did, and I just don't remember because it's been a while. But trust me when I say you're gonna like it. It's something that I have technically already drawn before. Way before in the past. When in the past? I don't know. If it was definitely years ago. But, yes. It's going to be cool, and it's going to probably put together all the stuff that I've made in that particular universe in a much more neater sense. Probably even going to update it as well. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead and put the latch in here. So the latch will be somewhere up here so the cows can easily just bend their nose and bring it up. And, let's see. So, up is down, or up is unlocked. Cat. Now the cat's, for some reason, trying to get behind the trash can. My God, what is wrong with you? Do I want it to be this? I guess it could be like a rubbery-esque kind of, nozzle, so you move it up, it moves it up in a certain direction. Yeah, that could work. Why not? Sure. It's our universe, we can do whatever we want with it. I did not want you to do that, however. There. Hope the cat's trying to go inside the blanket now. I don't know if we can hear that or not. Okay, so, around here, unless they want to, like, move their nose around it. Okay, cat, really? There's a mechanism behind it. To make it, I mean, yeah, you do this and press it, but, you know what, actually, I am going to go on ahead and do this. Almost looks like something it shouldn't look like, but it's fine. We can adjust it. A little bit more in this direction, I guess, and boom. So there you go, a lever. The cows move their... Actually, we could probably put like right here. Yeah, cow move their nose up and under the lever, and they pull it up, unlocks. Pull it down, locks. Some cows will lock the door behind them. Those are the courteous cows. Now I'm just trying to figure out how big this should be. How big should their pen be? Because they do need enough room to be able to turn around. Also, this might not even be in the right spot. Looking at this is probably going to go here, so we kind of want it to go here and go down more. And then maybe try to move this down a bit. Perspective is hard sometimes. Anybody who's drawn understands what I mean when it comes to perspective, especially when you don't really have a guide to work with. Yeah, I guess I could probably, I don't know, move that a bit, then do that. Yeah, that could work. Alright, somewhere around here is what we wanted. Perfect. Now then, I'm going to make their pens. We're not really going to have anything, like, kind of showing here. Part of me still feels like this is a little bit off. I do want to get some cows showing on the other side. Even if it is just like for a small amount. But I don't know if this is the right perspective that I want to work with here. So what do we all want to talk about? While I do this. What is there to talk about? Now I'm going to continuously struggle to commentate on these particular types of videos until I can figure out conversation discussions. Whatever the word beeth. Everybody heard about that new Borderlands game coming out soon? Honestly, I kind of like the idea of fantasy-esque Borderlands games involving, what is essentially the Dragon Keep DLC, but, you know, in a more large-scale thing instead of, like, one level. I'm gonna enjoy it. Tina was a pretty funny character, and I also like the magic element of it as well. Also, more Borderlands games is good for me. And it's funny, too, because I never really played the games for the story. Honestly, the story in 3 was like, meh. And that was mainly because of what they did to, you know, our favorite siren waifu. Outside of Lilith, of course. Maybe Amara, if you like those strong women. Well, was there another one? Outside of playable, yes. Ava, I don't really care for her. Again, because of freaking... Yeah, it makes sense. She's a freaking teenager, and teenagers do stupid shit. That stupid shit leads to stupid consequences, which shouldn't be. And you know what? I made a character specifically to, you know, rectify the problem that happened in the story. You know, Carrie the Brawler, my quote-unquote Borderlands OC character. I made her mainly as a means to, you know, have like an advanced kind of brawler in a sense, i.e. Carrie the Brawler. She's sort of like Craig, you know, with how Craig's gameplay all works. With the whole melee focus, but multiple different tools to work with. Or like, I mean, I've drawn all of her weapons there that you can like see and utilize. It would be nice, though, if there was a way for me to, like, somehow mod her into the base game. But the idea with her in that one moment... Honestly, I don't even know if it matters to spoil it, because the game's been out for, like, what, a year or two? How long has that been out, actually? Matter of fact, let me check it up right now. When did Borderlands 3 come out? 2019! September 13th! Over 2 years. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So it's been 2 years. Anyways, yes, you know what happened with Maya. It was annoying. It was stupid. So, lore-wise, Carrie the Brawler being technically 5th DLC character, she isn't there to, you know, to loot the vaults, to do anything with, like, that stuff. She's mainly there for, like, the sirens and stuff. And also because of the fact that the twins are stealing her bandit clan. And, yes, the twins attempted to try to kill her, but it didn't work. Carrie was incredibly powerful. They backed out, but all of her supporters disappeared. I believe this was the lore. It's been a while since I've even thought about that character. But, yes, instead of going inside of that vault, Carrie stuck around, because she thought, yes, those twins will come. And, well, they did come. The twins did come, and they attempted to do their stupid thing. But Carrie found out what was happening with Maya, and she didn't want to accept it, so she ran full forward and punched that piece of shit in the jaw, similar to how Handsome Jack got punched in that one game in the pre-orders like this. I don't know how to do that. That probably looked weird on video, but, you know, That's what she did to that son of a bitch. Maya still lost her powers, of course, but at least now she's alive. Maybe not a siren anymore, but still alive instead of dead, which would have been a much more preferable outcome. But I am given the power to create alternate universes, to change things that I do not like. That's what I do in most things. That's what I did with the Sasha Browse. Spoilers. But if anybody have seen my drawings with Nezuko and, that moment, you would know that I have the power. I have the power to change the outcomes of universes and have them take place in alternate universes, i.e. fanfiction. When you think about it, and you probably don't want to think about this, but anybody that makes fanfiction, technically speaking, is making an alternate timeline involving that character. And I know you probably don't like that, because there are some weird stuff out there involving your favorite characters that are now taking place within these alternate timelines. And I should know. I'm prime suspect number 1. Okay, maybe not number 1, but number 4,267,088. But yeah, we are creating new universes with these outcomes. Just the same as I did with Maya, the same as I did with multiple other characters, and the same as what I'm going to do with a certain character from My Hero Academia. She's not dead, but she's probably suffering from PTSD or trauma. And I feel like she would enjoy what Luna would do to her, wink, or wink, wink. But yes, we do have the ability to change timelines. The original might not change, but the alteration, boy, let me tell you, the alteration will always be whatever we want it to be. Don't listen to anybody who hates on your alternate view of a specific universe. If you don't like this outcome, you can change it. The original might not change, but you can stay within this universe instead. Trying to figure out a way to, get the timelines to merge properly with, certain outcomes might not be happening. For instance, you kill a villain pretty early on as a major opponent in the later season. So you gotta figure out a way to, substitute that for what would happen in the original timeline? I mean, really, there's a lot to take into consideration when it comes to making alternate timelines. You also got to remember certain events happening because of these certain moments. Of course, I feel like this moments with Carrie the Brawler probably wouldn't change much. The only thing that would change is Maya's still alive, and as soon as you kill that bitch, well, I should say bastard, not bitch, even though or Mitch, I should say. Man, bitch. As soon as you kill that Mitch, Maya decides that Ava gets the power, and then Ava uses it to save all of their Iases from the other bitch, and Maya's still alive, but now she doesn't have the siren powers. Carrie will probably be upset and will probably be conflicted because Ava's, 13? Maya's probably 27. And Carrie is attracted to sirens, which would be a good future idea drawing for, spoilers, Tannis, Maya, Lilith, wink, 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 Amara. Maybe we'll try to drag Stella in there. Lieutenant Stale, or whatever her name was. Shish kebabs lady. It sucks that she got penetrated, but that's hentai for you. I don't know why I went for that, but let's roll with it. But yeah, I do like the idea of having her not dying. And I don't know when I realized that I have this power. With my ability to create I can make anything I want, any scene I want, within certain limitations, of course. I'm not the best. I'm no Sami-chan, or whatever that guy's name is, or girl. I think it's a girl. I vaguely do remember that tidbit. But I like to think I have some skill. You've seen my art. You've seen how I draw. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I do have another idea for Shasha coming up next limitation period. Also another way to heal up, spoilers, Hanji's eyes, as well as, punishing Mikasa for failing her goddamn mission Luna gave her in the first episode. I'm pretty sure you all know where I'm going with this one. I feel like the cat hasn't been doing this at all, but as soon as I start talking to myself into the camera, in my videos, she just sits there with this look of tiredness, like just this. Just like this. That's right, I'm mocking you, cat. I knew she was gonna open her eyes and look in that direction. Oh, this needs to be moved. Make you a little bit... Okay, no, maybe not that big. I forgot the fact that this is perspectives, and you are pretty far out there, aren't you? I do have a lot of ideas for alternate timelines and stuff like that. Well, I've been technically doing that a whole bunch with Pito's Fetish series. The thing that replaced Karasuba's Ticklish series and all that stuff. Which I think was a good call. I like Pito, and Pito is ambiguous enough to where, I'm not going to be going out here and drawing straight up guys in those particular type of drawings. Maybe Kurapika or Stolfo or Z, but, I haven't figured that part out yet. People here are mostly for, the women. But I know there's a few people out there who probably like guys. Pito over here is ambiguous as all fuck. And I feel as though... is this off? Hold on. I think this might be off. Honestly, I can't remember what this was. What was this again? Was I supposed to delete that? Oh, I don't remember what that was now. Okay, no, we don't need that. That's not something we need, I think. Right? No, there's something we need. Wait. Hold on. Hold on a second. Something's screwing up here. Something is screwing up here, and I am losing my focus. Okay, there we go. Never mind. This just wasn't fully closed in yet. But yes, Pito is rather ambiguous. And I guess that does probably take into consideration actual canon. I highly doubt any of the Chimera ants have genitalia. Doesn't mean I'm going to draw people like Poof, that motherfucker, or Yuppie, who was a bro until Poof decided to be more manipulative. He was a bro. He just liked to fight. Man, oh man, he just liked to fight. I feel like I screwed something up with that fence, but we'll deal with it when the time comes. And I feel like the king probably could have lived... spoilers. There's so many spoilers that I have to keep in mind that I am not very attentive of. But yes, spoilers, he did. And I feel like he could have lived. I feel like if those fools have only been able to, monitor the situation and see that he finally found someone to spend the rest of his life with instead of, what was his original plan? Was he planning on killing humanity or enslaving them? I don't remember. Also, is that counting away? Yeah, that counts in a way. Yeah, I feel like he could have lived. And, nothing probably would have changed. I'm not going into too much spoilers with my own little series. I want to leave that up for interpretation, but I guess technically speaking, if I did say I have at least 2 seasons worth, and the entirety of the first season consists of the Chimera Ant arc, with the second one picking up after the election arc. So yes, in this alternate timeline, Pito does live. I mean, they get the shit beaten out of them, I should say. But a certain someone, which is spoilers, manages to save them. But manipulative, you see. As they see the king dead due to radiation poisoning, which is now gone for one particular spoiler reasons. But yeah, Pito is going to live in my alternate timeline. Hence my powers to create these alternate timelines. Although it's less of me and more of another one of my creations. But you get the point. Okay, some of these cows are starting to look like pigs, except for this one. This one looks more like a cow. You, I think, need to be more upwards. Yeah, I guess the Karasuba series is also pretty heavy in the alternate timeline aspect. Mainly because I've never freaking seen the show before. What was it again? I could probably just look up. Sakura. Sakurai? Yeah. And she's probably dead, but, you know, I can't say spoilers for that one because I don't know. I have never watched the series at all. But if I would have to take a wild guess, antagonists usually never live. I say that, but Doofenshmirt's still alive. Having a midlife crisis, but he is indeed still alive. I will say I am very surprised at the route they went for the ending of Phineas and Ferb, because now it means that Vanessa, as well as Kansas, as well as a few other characters, are now over 18. Wink. So that means we're going to be probably making drawings of them soon at some point. But not before the hot milfs. Gotta make sure we follow Kakyoin's advice over here. Save the milfs for good old-fashioned art. Cat? Don't give me that look, Cat. You lick yourself. We humans got our own ways of satisfying our cravings. Cat looks so done with life right now. Yeah, look, I get it, Cat. I get it. You preferred it when I was more silent. Now you're just sitting there sleepy. Dang old cat over here sleeping. Or at least trying to sleep. I'm over here waking her up. But yeah, we do have a decent amount of characters to draw there. At the very least, the ones that we know are of age. Oh yeah, there's another good example. The Hey Arnold universe surprisingly has a decent amount of mature women to draw in those particular type of drawings. Like, surprisingly, there's a lot of children in that show. So much so that you think there's not going to be a lot of characters to draw here. And the same goes for Food Wars too. Because there's a lot, it mainly consists of the high school students. But there's the judges. Don't forget the judges as well. I mean, yes, of course, it makes sense. There's a bunch of judges and also teachers. Although we don't really have too much about actual good-looking teachers. Most of the judges are good, so we do have a lot of drawings in that department to take into consideration. This part is not finalized. I'm probably going to try to adjust it as soon as I connect it. But yeah, there's a few good examples in that one particular the fucking Hey Arnold universe. Oh god, it was pause. When did it pause? I don't remember what paused. Oh crap, why did it pause? What paused it? Oh no, I don't know if you got all that. Everything paused. Ah crap. Number? Why is it numslock? When did I press the plus key? Ah, crap. You know what? I'm going to delete... No. I'm going to delete the pause button. Delete it. Delete it now. Oh, God. Where did we leave off? Shit, how long were we paused? Okay, so never pause. Remove the pause key. That's great. I don't even know if you guys caught wind of the other story. You probably didn't. Wait, no, we're like 40 minutes in. And we started let's restart the story, shall we? So Fred and Barney in their freaking car, Christ. I hate everything. I hate my fat. I don't even know when the hell I pressed the damn plus key. I forgot that was the freaking pause button. So yes, they're in their car. Honestly, I feel like not telling the story now. Maybe I'll tell it later. I gotta freaking. I really need a second monitor to observe. I mean, I can easily just pull it up, but at the same time, it's just. Screw you, plus key. When did I even press this? God damn it. I could stop the recording now and splice it together. Whatever. Let's just continue with the drawing itself, shall we? I am disappointed. I am depressed. I am mad. I hate technology. I wish that there were better options with technology. But anyways, continuing on with our current story. Thank God I've noticed it now, because it would have sucked freaking 20 minutes. 20 minutes of potentially juicy content down the drain because of the stupid plus key. Whatever. I'm gonna save this cow swatch. Oh God, I really should have just fucking not had a pause button there. I should have figured as much. I don't know what this cow is going to be called, so I'll just put Bear's cow. Now I'm mad. I'm blistering fury. I don't even know when the hell I pressed that plus key. I guess I should have figured as much. My hands are always on the numpad for certain instances. I'm not muted, thankfully. I'm not even going to press anything. I'm going to leave it as is. God damn it. How the hell would I even pick up this conversation? How would I know what I said? How would I know? God damn it. You had one fucking job. One piece of fucking shit job. Yet you failed. You failed miserably. So much time went down the drain because we freaking paused it. I don't even know. I think I noticed it because of the freaking lack of, was that a lack? I don't even test it. I don't know. I don't want to press anything. I just want to continue drawing. Okay, I'm going to try my best to pick up back on that story. You probably were left off on the freaking body pillow story. You probably don't even know how that ended. You're probably like, how did that end? Oh, how did that end? Boy, I wish I could tell you, but I fucking paused it. Man, I wish I didn't freaking fat finger shit. I wish fat fingering wasn't a fucking thing. Damn it. Damn it to hell. And back. Whatever. It's fine. You want us to tell the story again? Oh God, what happened? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I just opened up 1,000 freaking windows. Why? How the jeez, I literally, technology needs to get its ass in gear. Oh God. You know what? We're gonna restart. We're gonna restart the story with Jack. All right, so here we go. Jack. Is his name Jack? I'm gonna look it up right now. Am I still recording? Tell me I'm still recording after that blunder. Alright, good. What the hell is this? What am I looking at? Oh, right. I forgot. Fucking cat over here trying to ruin me as well. Was his name Jack? Coach. 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 No, that's couch. Coach. Ah, here we go. Coach Wittenberg. What's his first name? Jack. It was Jack. I was right. Surprised that I remembered it. Jack is over here in the body store. We're starting over again. And here he goes walking down the aisle singing, "When my tear ducts gibbish, I can't use just any tish." I'm still recording. And then here comes this nerd walking up with this look on his face like this. And then Jack's like, "Hey, only I can buy her." As the nerd tries to grab the pillow, he looks back and forth. A pig snort sound comes out. He buys the pillow. It's a sad story, really. God damn it. I'm sticking with it. And he's over here in the chair. No coitus happens. And now he's sad because he's trying to... The only thing he has to remember his wife by is this body pillow, and now he's like, why is there... He comes to the realization as why there's a body pillow of his wife, so he stakes out the word we're looking for here, stakes out the store, and comes across this strange-looking van with nobody driving in it. Did I mention that before? You probably didn't catch that I mentioned it before, but I'm gonna freaking mention it anyways. And then he comes into this desert area, far from home, and then this van goes off to the sands, and then he goes and follows the vans, and the sands are smooth for some reason, and out of nowhere, a facility pops up out of the thin air, and then the road he was driving, and the sand he was driving now turns into the road, and he discovers that the sand he was driving, it was actually road that was invisible for some reason to the naked eye at the time. Did I mention he found the facility? And then he looks into the facility and sees a bunch of pillows on an assembly line over here. And then he sees this, goes up to the entrance to find this GLaDOS robot-looking-ass microphone thingy, woman thing. They have a conversation I can't remember. That was true in the other story. Oh, God damn it. All right, and then Jack tries to bust Tish out, but he dies a whole bunch. He gets shot by missiles, electrocuted, zapped. He failed a table hockey with this look on his face, and then zaps. You probably definitely caught that part, but if you caught it, it's going to be hilarious to hear it again as I frantically try to retell it. And then we find out twists, spoilers, plot twists, whatever. His eye, it shows a scene of his eyes, his pupils not there, and the robot bringing waves and showing him all the ways he dies and fails to save Tish. And then the story ended there, as we definitely did catch the part where we were talking about the Hey Arnold women and fetishizing art of them, and I'm freaking losing it here, man. I forgot about this tidbit. God damn it. And then we went to the Fred and Barney storyline. So now here we are with Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubbles as debt collector. This is where we last left off. I don't know if we caught this before, but Christ. I know we definitely didn't catch this part, so here I go trying my best to explain it again. For the second time. Make sure we're still fucking recording. I removed the pause key this time. So, yes, they're debt collectors. Barney's in this car playing Mexican music. He makes this face while the car is here. Fred is here in the passenger seat. Barney's here, but his head is like this big, looking at the camera as the camera zooms out and shows those two driving across the suburban open area. Then they stop at this house Fred Flintstone goes into, and the owner of the house, for some strange reason, is baby Tina Belcher. Like infant. And then he's over here. The game is like a Telltale Games. He walks up, you get these choices. There's this one choice where Fred tries to threaten the baby, and he's like, like he's trying to hold back punching the baby. And you're trying... Okay, now this is the part we last left off. Okay. Actually, wait, no, I forgot about the tidbit about the Cortex Blight. The whole reason the conversation came up is because of the Cortex Blight, right? Remember that case that Reginald Franklin did? The Cortex Blight? Yes, that case. It was inspired off of this event that I was thinking about. So, and we got all these Flintstone-looking-ass characters that are zombie-esque as they walk forward to try to take over the area. Blight it, if you will. Oh, Jesus Christ. And there's like multiple endings and stuff. Yada, yada, yada. I am saying yada, 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 but this is the first time you guys are hearing it. This is the second time I'm hearing it. The second time I'm saying it. Oh, boy. I didn't even think I would be able to provide the content this episode. I was doubting myself on what to talk about, but here we are. Christ. Alright, so this is where we last left off. There was rumors about there being two people living here, despite the fact that the baby Tina is the one, and that's presumably the only one that's living in this house. And Fred and Barney were sent to try to figure out, you know, if those rumors are true, and this mother... I can't believe I did this. I can't believe it. I cannot believe I did this. We can fix this story. This is an easy fix. Crap. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. No need to panic. Room. What the hell are we? Oh yeah, that's right. This is still at 900 for some reason. Yeah, wait, this whole thing is off. What the hell was I thinking? Yeah. Alright, whatever. I'll fix it while I continue telling this story here. So it's your job right now as Fred Flintstone to attempt to locate proof. Oh, wait, no. This is not supposed to be here. Right. Oh, God, what did I delete? No. Oh, fucking Christ. This is not supposed to be here. But also, this is not supposed to be here. But also, I think we screwed up, actually. Yes, we did screw up. And this was before we went berserk on our attempt at trying to retell the story a second time. So, yes, we did screw up something here. I don't think this needs to be here, so I'll delete it. Or is it? Man, I don't know. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, I see now. I see where we screwed up. Don't worry, folks. I can fix this. I can even just move this back to where it needs to be moved. Wait a minute, this is not even the right size. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We can fix it still. Everything is fine. Happy little accidents is all it is. We're really losing it here, folks. We're losing it. But it's fine. Everything's fine. No need to panic, room. I only want your tango of cash. So just pay it forward and we can all be happy Gilmore. Alright? You hear me? You better fucking pay me money. I got some pretty good art on Patreon, you best. This would be a good time to advertise the Patreon drawings. $10 for like, what, 6 drawings out right now? Let me think. We did 3 October, 2 in November. 7 drawings for $10. And if you pay the monthly subscription, you get 2 drawings monthly. You know, it seems like a good deal, right? You better support me. I'm over here making myself into a fool trying to retell a story that I shouldn't have to retell because of this stupid freaking pause key that I forgot I had set. But it's fine. It's fine. Back to the Flintstone story before we get off track again. So, yes, Fred Flintstone is out here looking for the supposed proof of a second person living here, rent-free. And you explore the house, look all the evidence. Fred makes comments towards the baby, and then you eventually get to the attic. The main part of this story, and this is where one of the major decisions get made. So, let me get a drink of water before I pass out. Holy crap. I gotta draw another cow, right, before I continue further into this department. So here are the major decisions you have in this particular playthrough. And, call Lincoln's Cow Barn. Okay, good. So one option you have is to essentially, try to lure the person hiding in the attic out. And what this entails is for you to pretty much hide your back from the entrance of the attic. And then you gotta turn around at the perfect moment to catch the guy who's about to walk right on out of the attic. And once you do, you trigger a chase sequence where you have to chase the guy, chase him down, and beat him up for the money. If you fail to, because he's going to run out the window, you do have the option to either chase him or take your aggression out on baby Tina for some reason. And it just triggers a sequence where Fred Flintstone, you just see Fred Flintstone doing this. You don't see the baby getting beaten up. You just see, like, glasses flying up in the air, and then these blood splats. You don't see, like, the actual, baby getting destroyed. All you see is Fred Flintstone's moments, and you get a little glimpse at the guy who the baby was, for some reason, letting live in that house. And that's one particular route you go down. This particular route doesn't really affect too much in the story, but it does affect a specific moral counter, which could be very bad depending on what route you decide to go on if you do manage to get past one of the major story points, i.e. the point of no return. Or the point where you pass all of the major decisions and are now on to quote-unquote Act 2. Most other decisions that you have going for you ends up in you dying and you don't make it to Act 2. This one, however, does bring you down a morally wrong path. Because even after beating up the baby, you'd still have Fred giving chase to the guy. And then the guy goes into the blighted zone, which at this point, he's as good as dead. And as soon as he walks into there, his body takes metamorphosis. Also, I almost forgot to get this cow a jaw, even though I guess technically speaking, it doesn't really need a jaw, but I put a jaw on it anyways. So his body goes through a metamorphosis, and then he turns into one of those blighted fools. We still recording? Good, we can continue with the story. So, at this point, the money is essentially, no longer, like, importance. Fred figured out who was living there. They are now blighted, so therefore they're no longer going to be, a concern. Although I think there is some issues at this point with the fact that now Mr. Slate is kind of ticked that Fred just beat the crap out of the tenant, even though... Or was he pissed? I think it was more of a case of he was pissed if you don't, like, rummage through a house to grab the extra money that they owed. That's right. Mr. Slate doesn't care about the people living there. He just wants the money. And plus, Mr. Slate also owns the hospital there. So, Fred just gives Mr. Slate more money. I mean, I forgot the tale. Anyways, he doesn't get too pissed at you for beating up the baby, because the baby will have to now spend money at the hospital to not be disfigured. But, he still was a little angry that you didn't have the foresight to get the money that was owed from the person who, If you get the money that was owed and beat the baby up, you go down the very bad route, which gets Fred killed before the big baddie shows up. I talked about a big baddie before the pause, or after the pause has happened. But yes, there's a big baddie. We'll get to him in a minute. Maybe not in a minute. Well, maybe soon. If we're talking about the bad route, or at least one of the bad endings, cat. Don't know what keybind is going to cause my entire system to pause. But, yes. Cat, could you please? Can't you see I'm doing something here? No, she's permanent. Alright, anyways. Where were we in the story again? Ah, god damn it! Meow! Just picks her up and puts her down on bed. So yeah, one of the bad routes involves Fred essentially just doing everything Mr. Slate says. Disregarding all of the morals, come on, cat. And doing everything in his power to make sure Mr. Slate gets what's owed. And then there comes a part where there's a pill. Now, what this pill is, essentially, it's a device to allow anybody to go inside of the blighted zone. But you take it, and you suffer from some severe, symptoms that are not as bad at the time, but the more you take it, the worse it gets. And taking just one pill will screw up your life for... if you do somehow manage to survive the blight, which is... there's a way to get rid of the blight. We'll talk about that when the time comes. But yes, you get this pill that allows you to go into the blight. A very important mechanic in very, specific story areas. And, you get the option to not take the pill at all. But there is a certain guy in the certain storyline where he has a pill and he does owe Mr. Slate money. And you do have to give chase to him as he goes into the blighted zone. Now, the blighted have, a system where they don't kill anybody because of the fact that they become blighted as soon as they go into the blight. But when they detect something in the blight that isn't turning into a blighted for some reason, then they'll kill you. So, in the blighted, if you have this pill effect on, which I believe only lasts for an hour? You only have an hour to go through this blighted area. Also, I screwed this up. Or did I? Yeah, no, I screwed this up. Oh, wait, no, that's the cow. For some reason, I thought it was this. I thought this was this. Never mind, we're fine. Everything is fine. So you don't really have too much time in the blight. Oh, well, you do, but are you really going to be spending an hour in such a hostile environment with essentially just zombies getting ready to beat the shit out of you? No. In Fred's instance, he has to, unless he doesn't want to follow Mr. Slate's rules and grab the debt. So you go on into the blight and give chase to this one guy, and there's multiple death sequences here. like kind of like a quick time event, if you will. It's not too bad, don't worry. It gives you more than enough time to react pretty early on, because, you know, most of the story changes relies on quick time events. But you can catch up to this guy, and eventually he's going to run into a blighted and get myrtleized. And it's at this point, if you do continue to give chase and if you're still on the bad route, he's over there getting the shit beaten out of him by all the blighted. And Fred, like, here's his wallet. Here's a guy getting beaten up, like, doing this, wailing around. And you see Fred's hand coming in to grab the wallet. The Left 4 Dead music comes on with a and he walks away. Well, that guy gets beaten to death. And mission accomplished. There are multiple other missions in mind that, you know, I don't really feel like going through because there's a whole lot that's we're not really, you know, thought about. But in the end of this bad ending route, you end up with the sickness. You've taken too many blighted pill repellent thingies, and now Fred Flintstone is dying off. But you've been such a loyal servant to Mr. Slate that he gives you a funeral that he does not give to anybody else. And you're slowly close to dying out. And before you die out, a big boom can be heard in the distance. Now, what this big boom is, it indicates the big baddie coming into play here. So, the best way I can try to give you this image, think of a ginormous Flintstone-looking character. Here's the blighted, this small, or, you know, this small. Actually, no, this close to kicking your ass, this small. And here is the big baddie. Keeps going higher. Putting my hand down, down, down. Yep, that big. And what he essentially is doing is he's standing up tall, close to the edge, and the blighted gives off a certain aura effect. It's like, here's the blighted guy, and here's the aura of the effect where things get blighted. So here's the big guy, and here's the aura. And this guy, what he does, he falls over, which causes the aura to expand further upwards, which takes over a giant, and I mean a giant portion of the city. Which you don't see in the bad ending, you only get a glimpse, which gives you spoilers, the fact that there is actually more content, but you just killed Fred Flintstone off because of your friggin' loyalty to a bad man. So, yes, it does give you this as Fred's vision starts to black out, and the black tar within his body from taking all those pills starts to take its effect. You see that giant monster coming down on the city. You don't get to experience it because you're dead. As soon as you get a small glimpse of it, like, here's your vision blacking out, and then there's the guy, there's the monster. You're screaming, yelling, and then, boom, dead. It gives you a hint that, yes, there is more content to be made. And, yes, it is a bigger game. It does have actual decisions. Now, you can pick up from where you last left off, or you can start all over again and try to make better decisions. I'm going to try to go down the good route, and we're going to pick off where the one major decision for this one particular instance would be, at least around at this point. So, whoops. I called this ceiling without the number. Somehow. Still recording? Good. We best still be recording. Good. I don't want to have to tell this a third time. But yes. let's go back to the good decisions here. We're going to make good decisions this time, folks. So, at this point, you're in the attic, right? But instead of trying to lure him out, you need to pull up a box on the attic door, sit on it, and say, I know you're up here. Come on out. And depending on what you say in this part, you can be brash or you can be sympathetic. If you be sympathetic, he'll come out less cautionally. If you be more bold and brash, he'll come out scared and I'll make a bargain, a deal or something. Right, I'm going to color this part in. And you're given an option here. Now, you can use this method to also go down the bad route. It doesn't involve the baby getting destroyed this time since there's no chase sequence. But you can also go down the good route where you talk to the guy. Now, at this point, there's a few instances happening here. Fred Flintstone is not happy about the situation that he's in. Barney's, for some reason, living it up. Who knows why? But, you're given the option to essentially give him money, the man. Because, something is up here, right? The Blighted over there is doing their thing and taking over pretty much everything. And Fred notices this. And you are given the option to either enact on good terms to try to help as many people out, or screw them over until you did. Because in his mind, he knows he's going to die. The question is, do you want to be good or do you want to be bad? So, at this point, you go down a good route. And word gets around, except to Mr. Slate, because the people who are spreading these words are not going to say anything to the tyrannical mastermind that is Mr. Slade. And it's at this point you start to go down a good route. Your moral meter goes up, which is very important. You want that to stay up high if you want to get a good ending. The ending is good in a certain aspect, but it's kind of bad in the epilogue no matter what. I won't go into too much detail yet about it. We're going to keep doing this, and then we're going to talk about it when the time comes. But yes, at this point, you start to give people more money. And don't forget, you're on a time crunch. You don't have too much time to be able to get all this stuff done with. There's a certain instance where you go into like a hospital and get records, but I don't quite recall what that story went. I just know you had to sneakily go into like the hospital and grab some records. There are like multiple different areas you can go to. But let's skip on ahead and over to the beginning of Act 2. So, in this act, oh, for fuck's sakes, cat. Let me just adjust this so the cat doesn't try to... Oh no, the cat's about to sniff the camera. Nope, wait, she's just looking at me. So, at this point, you gotta make sure that you have at least some trust with Mr. Slate. You have to live the lie as much as you can and make sure that he never catches on. Because if he does, you get another bad ending. No matter how good you do here, you have to be mindful about how you go about going behind Mr. Slate's back. You can't even get Barney involved because he's just going to rat you out regardless. Ah, crap. Did I forget this? I did. It's fine. It's fine. We can fix it. I didn't even freaking color it in. Are you kidding me? Whatever. But, yes, once you've gotten to a point where he trusts you, you get to the quote-unquote boss sequence. You have an airship, which takes you high enough and out of the radius of the Blight. This ship is essentially what everybody has been using throughout the entire area that hasn't been affected by Blight yet, because this is the city, right? And there's Blight all around it. And the Blights, Was the Blight attracted by living people? I think that was the case. So you go and have this spaceship that Mr. Slate has all set and prepped and ready to go. Because I think somewhere along the storyline, the spaceship supply started to like stop coming in, and they lose communications. So at this point, Mr. Slate had the idea to make sure to get his own spaceship going and bring the valuable crap. How do I keep on messing this up? It's fine. We can just delete all of this and redo it right now. I can't believe I did this again. That's why, because this is supposed to be underneath it. Right, I gotta make another pillar layer. Okay. The ship, Mr. Slate gets all the supplies and fuel stuff going. And if you are, going down a good route and are successfully tricking Mr. Slate, you get on the ship. You unfortunately cannot bring everybody with you. No matter what, everybody you help is going to die. But the morality of the situation doesn't change. And if you haven't taken any of the blight-repelling pills, you already are on good track as is. So you go on in and to the ship. As you're about to leave, that giant guy that showed up is now an actual threat. And you're essentially, dealing with this thing towering over y'all's, and the entire city gets encompassed by the blight. And at this point, the blighted monster attempts to bring down the ship you all are on. And this is more of a case of, it's not a quick time event, but you get to actually control the ship. You gotta control it. Keep track of where the giant's hand is, and you gotta move it into a spot where the giant isn't going to destroy you. And at this point, now you have to worry about the fuel. All the fuel you've collected is taken into consideration here. So if you run out of fuel during this fight, you will not be able to fight against the blight, and you will most likely get destroyed. It's a one-hit kill, and there are multiple checkpoints. One checkpoint being the one that starts the whole fight over again. The other checkpoint is the one that brings you to a certain point, but you're still left with the fuel you were last left off when the checkpoint was initiated. Meaning you could get to a point where you are your fuel reaches is like a 1 or 2 or whatever number it would be considered at that point, and the part where you have to dodge the giant's hand, and you can't dodge it. And at this point, you're in a death loop. Now, you can get out of the death loop by going into the pause menu and going into the restart entire fight, or you can just continue from that particular checkpoint and just watch Fred, Barney, and the rest of them just get swat out of the sky. At this point, Fred is on top of the ship. There's this hatch that he can come in and out of. And he's on top of the ship, and I think he has some some melee device or melee weapon. I don't remember what it was exactly. And here comes the hand. You run out of fuel. And what was that meme again where it's yo ho or something like that? That's playing in the background as well. Don't forget that. The epic boss battle-esque music. And the beginning of that plays, hands up in the air, and then there goes the hand, swipes the ship down. Fred yells, "Shit!" And then you restart from the last checkpoint. This checkpoint where you have no fuel. And the music starts all over again. Yo ho, shit! And it keeps on doing that until you decide to restart the entire battle. I feel like that's a funny death loop. One that you can get out of, but one that I think would be funny Probably a little mildly annoying, but I don't think the fight would be that difficult. Once you figure out how to actually like fight the thing, I feel like at that point you'd want to like restart with full fuel and see how good you can do, or how well you can do there. How good you can do. Now, yes, this is not a boss fight because you're not going to beat this guy. Well, I guess you don't have to technically beat a boss to, when you just got to avoid its attacks and hope to hell that you don't run out of fuel. But you got to attack the boss and weaken it enough for you to be able to escape without it following you immediately. And then I think at this point it turns into somewhat of See, I don't remember this part entirely. I don't remember if it was like a survival instance or like you have like a little like reprieve where you like... Yeah, I think it was like a reprieve where you like discussed and conversated and like try to like find certain things. Because I don't believe I had the presence of mind to have an instance where you can bring the ship down to unblighted zones. I think right now there's only like one unblighted zone. The one that was sending you all of the supplies, the stuff that they have there, like the food and like farm animals, like materials, minerals, stuff like that. That's the area you're going to right now. And it's presumed that that big guy was there in the middle of the transit, preventing all of those supplies from getting to you. So at this point, you, Slate, I think there was this bodyguard guy, or was that later? I think that might have been a guy in Act 2. I don't quite recall. Yeah, I think it was just you, Slate, Mr. Slate, and Fred. Oh, yeah, you're Fred. You, Fred, you, Barney, and Mr. Slate. That was the entire... Christ, that was the entire crew at that point. And then you go into Act 2, which is essentially, more resource gathering, but less debt collecting. And there's an important aspect to this one, where you have a group. I think it's two strong guys, or was it? Yeah, it's two strong men, or a group of strong. Was it two? I don't remember. It's been a while since I thought about this particular story. That's been so long. Act 1 is the one that I remember the most because I've thought about it so many times. But Act 2. I've only thought about it like a few times, and other than that, not really much. But yeah, you have these big, muscular men who are there to like mine the supplies and minerals and stuff inside this cave that's slowly being taken over by the blight. And it's your job to try to like come up with a strategy to collect the minerals inside of the cave and not have your men be taken over by the blight. And it's a real strategic part in this particular instance. And depending on how much you get here will, determine how well you do in the second half of the second act. But you have to pick like certain routes to go and acquire minerals from in like the far parts of the caves. Travel time takes into consideration. And at this point, you got like probably like a week. If we're still recording, good. A week, or two, few, maybe somewhere around that number. We got about that much in to collect as much resources as we can, because the blight is slowly coming in and is slowly about to take over this area, no matter what. There's this one guy. I think he was supposed to be he was supposed to be Spacely. I mean, he looks like Spacely at the very least, and it makes sense, kind of. Two big bosses of their own respective universes in the same area. Jetstins isn't here. I'm sorry, but the Jetstins... I don't know why, but the Flintstones have way more mean properties than the Jetstins do. Jesus Christ, trying to say they're freaking... Flintstones roll us off the tongue so much better. Flintstones? Jetsons? No, I'm not feeling it. I'm sure I could probably come up with something, but Flintstones, something about Fred and Barney's designs just works so perfectly to create these weird stories. Why is that? And what makes Barney's design so... I I don't want to spoil this because I haven't made it yet. God, I really wish. Maybe next year, folks. But I don't want to spoil this particular instance. This one I can say because of the, it doesn't have anything too important, like lore-wise, in my own ginormous mystery universe. Hiccups. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Okay, but I don't understand what makes their design so memeable. I like it. It's funny. It replaced a certain creature that I had thought of before, which I will talk to you about at some point. Oh, maybe after this, if I can remember. A certain terrible creature. What I have deemed to be the most hated species in the universe, in all universes. Not just ours, not just the universes that were created in. All universes. And you won't know why they're hated until we get to a point where I actually draw them, explain them some more. But for now, let's just focus on continuing Act 2. So, you come across one of the guy, the big guy, I think. I think in this instance you only got 5 added on. So yeah, you come across one of the big guys. This should be 5. I don't know why it's not 5. Who's a big, muscular, it's a soft heart. And I think he's with Barney as security at this point, as opposed to debt collecting. Fred is going back to his roots, mining for rocks and minerals. And Barney continues to do the debt collecting stuff. And it's at this point that the Blighted is slowly seeping in. And you have the ship and all of the supplies, and you can convince this guy and another scrawny guy. Don't forget, these are like Flintstones-looking characters, so try to imagine a tall, buff-looking guy who almost looked like Magilla Gorilla, but human-like, and a scrawny-looking guy which looks like... Honestly, I don't know what he would look like. Generic background character, yes, who somehow has a very important role in Act 3. So, so then you go on ahead, you convince them, because those two don't like being in that area. They know that the Blight is coming, they know that they can't stop it. Mr. Spacely does not want to acknowledge it, and he thinks that, none of it's matter because he's just going to get into a spaceship and fly off. His spaceship is bigger than Mr. Slate's, I do believe. So I do believe you take his ship and all of the supplies that you mined inside of that mine at the dead of night. Then at this point you convince Barney to come with you on the ship. It takes some doing, but you convince him to come because Mr. Slate's coming. Because of, the fact that he's like the main big boss. He's their boss. Mr. Spacely doesn't mean shit to them. And even Mr. Slate agrees that it's probably for the best that we cut business ties with Mr. Spacely. And Mr. Spacely wakes up, finds out that the ship is about off the ground. And Mr. Slate's just looking down on them, saying something like, "Sorry, old chum," or something like that in terms of... something about the Blight coming in. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember the exact conversation that we had for that particular moment. But the Blight is slowly seeping in, covering the entire camp that it's in. And Mr. Spacely yells out the top of his lungs, "You bastard! You bastard!" or something like that. And he gets down on his knees, rips open his shirt, reveals he has these damn pecs and abs. And he's like, "Take me! Freaking take me!" or something like that. Maybe not that. I don't remember exactly, but that's the first thing that came to my mind remembering it. As his face turns from anger to just despair, and the freaking Blight just slowly encompasses his body. And then, there he goes. He's now one of them now. He's now turned into one of them. you, Fred, or you as in Fred, Barney, Slate, that big guy, and that one scrawny, nerdy guy are now in the ship with a whole bunch of supplies. And now I think you're in Act 2, which I think is more talking, because now the whole world has been blighted. Nothing is left. The only sign of humanity are those 5 on that ship. One of which, Mr. Slate, who takes a whole bunch of those tar-resistant pills, is slated to die in the future. Spoilers. And at this point now, you're on, like, a strategic quest to try to avoid the big blighted guys and try to locate certain things. You're not going to find anything, but I think the main objective of this is to try to find a certain radio location, which will lead you into Act 3, which is the finale, the big boss, so to speak. But before we talk about that, there's a lot of issues happening on a ship. You're cramped up in a ship. Even if the ship is big, it's still pretty small for like 5 people. And you're there, the only people there, and you all have problems. You get through those problems, and you have to like ration out certain things, but you do make it work. And your objective is to try to find the location of a certain signal before you run out of supplies, or before one of y'all's kill each other. I don't remember how much more there was here. I think there was like some mini games at this point, as you do like strategic stuff and all that stuff. But other than that, we're going to skip that part because it's unimportant to the next part, the big Mamba Jamba, Act 3. We're still recording? Good. So, at this point, you find the nest. There's like like tens of thousands of blighted guys down below. Alright, now that this is done, we're doing the background. Tens of thousands of blighted guys down below. At least a dozen big boys, very tall, ginormous fellas, just clamoring around the place. And there's this glowing, purple-esque kind of hive-looking thing. Best way I can explain it. Kind of just there. Leading in, and there's a cave system leading into the big main area. And at this point, you guys found the nest, and all of the blighted sees you, just hovering above their nest. And they're like, moaning, yelling, and at this point, they found the last remaining signs of humanity, floating right above their heads. And, this is the final battle. However, you don't take over Fred Flintstone or Barney, Mr. Slate. No, you take over the scrawny guy of all the people. The scrawny guy. So, at this point, this is a suicide mission. The nest right there is clearly the big Mama Jamba. I think this guy has been studying the Blight, which would make sense as to why he is the one who's being brought up to be the one to take care of this issue. Let me see where this is. I'll try to bring this a little bit closer in. And a little bit down. So yes, he's studied it. He knows the Blight to an extent, and he knows that this is an important landmark. And he's on a suicide mission. He asks Mr. Slate to hand him over the pills, for he will attempt to deal with the Blight for good. Mr. Slate hands him the pills, and he gets on the rope thingy that leads him down and into the Blight-infested area. And this area is so freaky looking. Like, you can tell this is like ground zero because everything that was affected by the blight looks way more weird. Spiky, lots of like craters and stuff, a lot of lava kind of just sitting around. Way more treacherous than the areas that you saw before in the beginning. Now it's at this point where you come across the first signs of an attempt to stop the blight. I think it was a bunch of grenades, right? Yeah, grenades. You have a bunch of grenades equipped to you, right? And there's a bunch of other grenades down there on the fields to restock and replenish. And now you're going in there. The only way to really kill these blights is with these grenades. These explosives. And you're going through the whole area. This is the difficult part, right? Now, everything up to here has been just strategy and stuff like that. Now you're actually fighting the blight. This is a third person, toss grenades to blow up and kite all of these things. You do this for a good, decent amount of time, and then you come across the cave system. The third act is separated by 3 levels. The first one being the main open field area with all the spikes and stuff. The second one being the cave system. And the third one being the boss fight itself. The Cortex Blight itself. That's right, folks. Before the Cortex Blight was an entity case, he was a boss fight in a Fred Flintstone's game. And you fight him as someone other than Fred Flintstone for some odd reason. Why? I don't know. My brain's just weird like that. But we're rolling with it anyways, because why the hell not? But yes, you're now going through the cave system. You got the fields, and this is where things get more difficult. The thicker, buffer caveman Flintstone blighted guys now comes into play, and they can one-shot you. As opposed to the other guys who took a few hits. Unless, there was a giant group of them, then they would just, immediately destroy you. So at this point, you have to try to kite them, because the grenades aren't doing as much damage to them as they are to the other guys. So now you have to, waste 2 grenades if you want to kill them. You don't want to waste your grenades, because the grenades are important, even though there is, a supply that will be coming in on the last act, somewhat infinite. You don't want to waste those grenades pretty early on. You want to use them for, emergency cases and stuff. It's still going. Yes, still going. Good. You do that, and, then you... Oh, why is Steam open? Oh, Steam downloaded. Okay, cool. Then you go on ahead and into this slide area. Yeah. I just skipped a whole bunch because Steam just distracted me, but it's really just nothing but a bunch of, fighting through a bunch of smaller blighted guys while trying to kite a bunch of larger blighted guys. So you come across the slide area, which brings you deeper into the planet's core. And you just slide for what feels like ages. And then you make it there. You make it to the Blight core. The Cortex Blight himself. I was going to say itself because technically it's not gendered. It looks like a buff man covered in darkness and stuff. But I'm not here and there. It was pretty cold in some of the tunnels. And then it started getting more harder. And now you're at the core of it all. This is where the Cortex Blight takes place, in the center of the planet, literally the complete center of the core. That guy traveled from the surface all the way to the planet's core. And now he's at the point of no return. This is a suicide mission, which I guess... if you're the only living people here and you're running on borrowed time because of the fuel and supplies you have in a ship, would you attempt to go on a suicide mission to try to save people? The remaining people here, even though it's all men and no women, so there's no reproduction? Yeah, that's the funny part about this, huh? In this story, no women is involved. No Betty or Wilma. There's barely any of Betty or Wilma in these stories. There is one with the Betty bots, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So, yes, at this point now you're fighting the blight, the cortex blight. And it involved you using grenades. So you have to avoid all of the cortex blight's attacks. And the heart of the core area, the heart of the area, is connected by these strands that you have to blow up. And blowing up these strands aren't that easy. You have to, wait until you get an opening coming in. Right? And these strands are connected in, I believe there's 3 connections. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then there's these 4 extra cores on the sides of all the things. So you gotta throw a grenade at the core, hope the grenade goes inside the core, cook the grenade in enough to blow up the core directly. And then once you blow off all 4, the blighted goes into this cocoon protection area where the core is, and then the 4 main cores regrow. Then you have to do the process all over again. While he's in this cocoon, you have all the other blighted guys coming up, more grenades start to pop up, and then you have to restart it all again. You got 2 more chances now, or 2 more health points now left to go through. I almost typed in health on this, and now I typed in wall for some reason. Or floor, I mean, not wall. Wall is what I wanted to type in. But yes, at this point, you gotta do it all over again. The Cortex Blight has more attacks you have to worry about, and is way more difficult to dodge. And don't forget, you're in the core, so you're slowing down a bit. This guy is, his voice is getting coarse, his skin is melting, he can barely make and move at all. At this point, you're running on borrowed time. If you're not quick, it's game over. So, you have to go through the whole process again. Destroy all of the stuff surrounding the entirety of the core yet again. Once you've done that, then he goes into cocoon again. You got more of those guys coming up. We got big boys this time, sprinkled in with the other guys. And then you gotta do this again. But now the Cortex Blight is throwing even more painful attacks at you, and is becoming more and more difficult for you to dodge and fight. Because now your vision's blurring, your freaking lungs are on fire, and you have one last attack to make to try to win this. The last attack, once all 4 cores are down, the Cortex Blight drops to his knees as he tries to get one last attack in, raising his hand up. And now you have that one grenade. Because if the Cortex Blight gets this attack off, it's game over no matter where you were at. You have to get this grenade off now, or else it's game over. So, there you are, with that grenade aimed right at that core. And, once you hit that core, boom, the core explodes. The Cortex Blight also explodes. The blight surrounding the area, disintegrating. All of the people who were blighted, unfortunately, turned into dusty bones. Or not dusty bones. Tar sludge. Yeah, tar sludge. And the blight disappears. Unfortunately, the blight killed off everything. So the only thing left at this point now, simply put, was a rocky landscape. The world as you know it, no longer as it is. Oxygen is still up high, because the blight did not use any of the oxygen, but eventually the oxygen would run out. However, supporting only 4 people at this point, I think they have more than enough oxygen to live the rest of their lives. So, cut back to the area, the core. So the entire core of the planet blows up. The blight is no more. And, yes, all the blight gets destroyed, but the core is dead. Those four are still alive up top, but the core is dead. However, because of the blight's effect, because the rocky tunnels and stuff, they're still there. They didn't disappear at all. So the effects of the blight, considering the terrain adjustments, still reside. The planet is still intact. No core, though, so I don't know where, it leads there. But other than that, the mission's accomplished. The guy may have died, but he died a hero. Also, this is off. I can't believe I did this. Well, he died a hero to 4 people. Everybody else is dead. There's only 4 people left alive. There's no more animals. There's nothing. The entire planet there is... crap. The entire planet there is dead. Except for some crops and seeds that they have left on the ship. So they can regrow food. They're not completely screwed. But, there you go. The good ending here consists of whether or not you have morals, right? Your moral compass is high. And whether or not you took any of those pills. Those are the main criterias in this instance. We're coming back to Fred and Barney. Mr. Slate took those pills consistently, but Fred and Barney didn't. And Barney only took the pills on Fred's command. So, yeah, obviously, that may make sense because those two are kind of like the main character for this entire story. But Mr. Slate took those pills, a bunch of them. And the effects were kind of noticeable on the ship already. And he was slowly dying out during Act 2. Later in Act 2. But, Mr. Slate's going to be dying, right? Which is fine, because he was a dick anyways. Freaking over here with his selfishness and getting all these people dead. But, yes. Yeah. This marked the end of the Blighted. They landed the ship. They turned out all right. And, yeah. Those two walked out. And it ended with those two holding hands for some reason. I don't know why, but a lot of the story involves... For some reason, it somehow ends up with Fred and Barney being gay with each other. It's not even a freaking sexual thing. It's more of a case of, why do those two feel like they would make a good couple? And now we roll with that storyline. I know, I think it's hilarious. Having instances where, like, Fred and Barney just, like... Yeah, there's one instance in another story that I'm not going to go fully into, but I can at least try to, like, provide some form of context for it. Mr. Slade over here, again, he's usually the antagonist in their stories for some reason. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Mr. Slade being Fred's boss, and, me and my hatred for companies these days. And the case was, Mr. Slade was a homophobic bigotist, even though he was a closet homophobe who was hardcore crushing on Fred Flintstone for some reason. I don't know why. And there's two police guy over here, like, investigating Fred Flintstone, and then Barney comes out as like, what did he say here? I don't remember what he said, but he said something about, like, is everything all right here, Fred? But the police are, like, looking at each other and, like, and who are you supposed to be? And it's another telltale kind of situation where you get to, like, pick your, like, what you want to say. And you can say something about, like, hey, you just came to watch the game with my best friend over here, Or you can go down the right where you say, he's my husband. I don't know. I'm not going full on into this. I still haven't finished up the story with the Blighted. technically speaking, the main story is finished, but we haven't talked about the epilogue yet, as to why this entirely isn't a good ending. Something occurs sometime later down in the future. I think there was something about, like, I don't know, the Blighted were, like, getting some weird markings on their corpses or something. And there was definitely some fallout between Fred and Barney at this point as well. I think the big guy is also dead. Obviously, Mr. Slate's gonna always die at the end of the story because he takes all of those freaking pills. But, yeah, something does happen, and it leaves it open-ended for a sequel. Sort of like a cliffhanger, if you will. It's just strange, though. I will say that. It was strange coming up with a large majority of that particular universe. I don't know why I made it. I don't know how I made it. When I'm up there on that damn machine, I let my brain wander because it's the only way I can relatively stay sane up there. And even before, I had some weird instances, and like before all that work crap came to be. But it only became more frequent as I had too much time on my hands on that goddamn machine in that damn job place. And, it's not all bad. I mean, we got certain creations that I wish I could tell you, but I don't want to spoil it, because I do want to try to leave that as a mystery for now. I really do want to talk about this particular creation, though, because I have made it before in the past with Duke Nukem. And even saying Duke Nukem's name is a huge spoiler as to what it is. But I don't know. I just don't know. Well, anyways, we went through that storyline. We had a minor panic attack at first as I fat fingered the plus key, which is my pause key. I don't know why I contributed after the pause key. I can't have really the equal sign be the pause key. Well, I guess technically speaking, I probably didn't know, because then I'll fat finger backspace in the freaking plus key. I need like I don't know, what is an exterior separated keyboard that has its own keys, kind of like how this has buttons on it for the mouse. Something like that before keyboards. Surely something like that exists, right? And if not, surely somebody has already had the idea in mind and just needs investors for it, right? I'm sure there is something like that. Maybe like key something or some other. Reason why I'm not putting anything on F7 because I'm worried that during the Minecraft videos I might accidentally do something stupid. Thankfully, I haven't put, because I don't have like a way to like check and see if anything is like going on in Minecraft. I have to rely that I'm doing everything right. Thankfully, I didn't press that. And now with these crashes happening, I have to worry about the game crashing in the middle of the freaking recording, which is not that bad because the recording still goes. It's just the Minecraft executable is what gets screwed up. God, it's just, technology really just needs to stop taking several steps backwards, Now I have a cat walking on me. Oh God, the cat's nudging my head now. Hey, she looked at the camera this time. Don't press the N key, I swear. I don't feel like trying to splice these together. Who knows how long it'll take to splice two videos together. We're only 2 hours in and we're almost done. Unbelievable. I thought we were on like the 3-hour mark at this point. Oh, that's great. It's fantastic. Time goes by quickly when you speak about weird game ideas you had in mind about other character creations. Man, I'm surprised I was even able to carry that conversation going out throughout the entirety of this. I'm still on door layer. Dang old cat, stop shaking the camera. All this here is feed. We're not almost done, but we are getting close. We're about to get to the point where we, do all the things. You know what I mean. But for now, I'm going to put lines here. But yeah, we went down a pretty crazy trip right there, didn't we? Man, I really wish I had the ability to create games more like effectively and quickly. I know how to make games, but to make these particular games in mind, I need to, for one thing, oh, I just cat going back there. Uh-oh. The cat's looking out the window. Something's out there. Folks, are we going to get a surprise guest star of, I don't know, what the hell would be out there? Who cares? It's probably just a raccoon, or maybe something like a ghost, a demon, demon Jim.